Okay, I think everybody's back, so we'll just get started. Well, who does not dream about glory and recognition for their work? Well, us Norwegians are also very proud of other Norwegians. We like bragging about them when they do something good. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Mattis of the award-winning studio, Das Studios.
Hello, everyone. Nice, thank you. First of all, I would rather like to really thank Ingvild and Lynn, who I don't see right now, and Spillmakelaget for inviting me here. So I think we should just give them a round of applause first, please. Which is my first time in Bergen, which is pretty cool. Woo, Bergen, yeah! Really concert venue here. So yeah, my name is Mattis, and I'm the CEO or business development guy at a studio called Das Studios. We are a 5-person team, and we have been working on a game for 1 year and about 6 months now, which we released 2 months ago, called Size Does Matter. So there's that. When I was asked to title this talk, I'm really afraid of titles because when I give something a title, I'm kind of stuck to that theme. So they asked me, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, to title this talk, and I had really difficulties with doing that. So I was thinking, I have to say something general, but also kind of specific. So I went with this one, which is the truth, it's fact. It's now released, which is, to me, super nice to say. Very comforting, a comforting sentence to say. So when I prepare these kind of talks, I like to not be bound by any subject. So I usually just explore different topics like 2 or 3 days before I actually have the talk, because I don't like to prepare things like way in advance. If I prepare it right before I have it, it's much more spontaneous, and I think you get more out of it, and I get more out of it, and it gets more from the heart. So that's what I've done. So yeah, this talk will not be that much about the release of Size Does Matter itself, although that's what they asked me to. But it will be more about my thoughts on game design and game development, because when we started to make the game 1 year and 5 months ago, I had one view on game development, but that has drastically changed. We've done a lot of mistakes, as we always do. We've done a lot of things right, I think. And today I will just share some of that with you. And if you can draw something out of that, that's awesome. If not, then I'm sorry. Sorry. So yeah, let's get started. As mentioned, this is our fancy logo. From Das Studios, 5-person team. Our distribution is 3 game designers and 2 programmers, where one of the game designers, which is me, is also the CEO guy, or business development guy. And we have been developing one game for 1.5 years called Size Does Matter. Size Does Matter, shortly, is a music rhythm game for the mobile, for iOS, Android, and Amazon. By the way, does anyone have Amazon here? Like Amazon Kindle? Oh, actually, there is a few of you, nice. The game is about controlling this little block, and the block is supposed to get through incoming gates, which come at you at different speeds. And the bigger you are, the more size you get. No, the bigger you are, the more points you get, sorry. Thereby, size does matter. And for those of you who haven't seen the game before, I'll just show you a small trailer, and so you can get what the game is about. Yes, that's what I was hoping for. Fuck janteloven. Sorry. Yeah. Yay! Thank you. Cool. I was kind of worried having a curse word in like the first few slides, but you're the right crowd, I think. So, fuck janteloven. If there's one thing that's holding us creatives back, and I think especially in Norway and also maybe in Scandinavia, is the jante law. For those of you not from Scandinavia and maybe you haven't heard about the jante law, the jante law, in short, suggests that if you have accomplished something and achieved something that you are proud of, you're not supposed to share it with anyone, because then you might be viewed and considered as arrogant or full of yourself. Okay? That's the general assumption. And if there's one thing which is holding us back, especially in marketing, it's this. And I hate it. I fucking hate it. And I think we should proactively get rid of this law. I mean, it's not a law per se. It's not written in this big red book. But it's an unwritten law and a norm. And I think it's really, really holding us back. It held me back for many years. I was really, really shy when I was younger. Still kind of shy. And it's been holding us back. And I really, really hate that. So I think it's our job as creative people and creative individuals to get rid of that law. I think we should do that. Accept and appreciate compliments. This is kind of hand in hand with the jante law. I know a lot of people who simply just can't take in these compliments that they get. And I think you deserve to feel good. Game developers deserve to feel good. And in order to feel good, you need to learn to accept and appreciate these compliments that you get. Because you might not get them that often. Maybe. But when you first get them, just don't say thanks, really mean it. Say thanks and mean it. If you want to survive in the long run, you need to take this into your heart. I think you really need to do that. At least it was very important for me. Because before I just said thanks, and I didn't really mean it, just like my mom taught me, say thanks for everything. Be thankful. And I said thanks, but I didn't really mean it. So you need to learn to really appreciate these compliments that you get, because you deserve to feel good. And I just had to bring this quote by Muhammad Ali, which really didn't give a fuck about the jante law, and I love him for it. It's not bragging if it's true. And I think that's a very, very good quote. I love that. Okay, so Twitter is pissing me off, so shut up. Sorry. Yes, where was I? It's allowed. Yes. It's allowed to talk about your game with passion. I find a lot of Norwegians don't do this because of the jante law again. We want to talk about our games with passion, but it's kind of uncomfortable for us because we think that if we, in the middle of a conversation, start talking about our games or our products, it's kind of bloating, and it's not. I mean, you are basically, as a game developer, you need to think that you're on duty all the time, okay? You can benefit from every situation, always. And it's very, very allowed to talk about your game with passion. Because if you don't talk about your game with passion, then who the fuck will? I mean, you are the one responsible to market your game and talk about it with passion. Because if you can't get, if you're not excited about your product, then how can you believe anyone others to be? So I think it's very important to talk about it with passion. Sell your product, marketing. Yes, really, do it. Really. How can people get engaged if you are not? Pretty colors. Never presume or assume. Always act upon facts, and this is like a life advice, I guess. But also in game development, never presume or assume anything. Always act upon facts and not so much on feelings. I mean, that highly depends on your discipline, but in short, always act upon facts. This applies to many situations of game development, both in marketing and design. Treat people alike. For example, if you're at a conference or in any setting really, if people don't look like they're worth talking to, go talk to them. You never know what they might know. I mean, treat everyone alike. Never assume people know you. I find a lot of people do this at conferences and stuff because they got an article here and there. Everyone thinks who they are from before. Never do that. You seem like a douche. Never assume people know you or your product. Never assume people know your game. Talk about your game with passion. This ties in. I think that's very important. You don't want to seem like a douche, in short. You don't want to seem like an asshole. Because in our industry, which is really small, good news travel fast. They travel really fast. We are a small industry. The last time I checked, we were 99 game companies in Norway, which is not a lot. So if someone does something good, people hear about it really fast. We have Facebook groups, we have Skype chats. I mean, we're a very small community. We're a new community. So good news travel fast. But one thing you always have to remember is that bad news travel faster. So if you are a douche, people will know you're a douche. And this is something you do not want. If there's something you do not want in our industry, it is to be considered something of a bad person. And treat people alike. Treat people alike. Don't be the guy that talks shit, I've written here. Don't be that one. A new pretty color. So a new color is a kind of a new theme thingy. This thing I'm trying to do. Ask anyone about anything. You never know what people might know. Like, my mom has taught me a lot about game design. She's 62 years old and works in a store. People, I mean, we are a very young discipline. We have a lot to learn from other kinds of disciplines. And I think that if we just ask enough around, we can learn a lot from people who might never know what they actually know themselves. And I think we should talk to people, and this goes into treating people the same. Don't treat anyone else any differently. Because we have this label, which is a label I absolutely hate. I don't hate the label itself, but I hate what kind of function it has to us. And that is the label celebrity. Celebrity, with Jan Slaven, I fucking hate. We need celebrities, we do. Not necessarily celebrities, but role models, which is a very important distinction, I think. And celebrities, I mean, they're not bad in themselves because often they deserve to be these kinds of celebrities. But what I really do hate is what kind of effect that has on us in contrast to them. For example, you're not supposed to talk to celebrities, you're supposed to ask them for autographs. Fuck that, talk to them. I mean, they're meant to be talked to. They really know what they're doing. So go talk to them. And I really hate this term. I really hate this term, celebrity. Because sometimes we consider them as gods. This is from an interview with Edge magazine. And I happen to mention that I think Terry Kavanagh, the creator of Super Hexagon, is a god. And of course, that became the fucking headline. Couldn't avoid that one. Which is no reason why we shouldn't talk to them. I contacted Terry Kavanagh. I talked to him like a human being. Don't talk to them like celebrities, like, hello, you're my celebrity. No, you just want to get to know the guy. You just want to get to know people who know what they do. Because they're there for a reason. They're called gods for a reason, or celebrities. It's right. So yeah, treat everyone alike. I think that's the common denominator here. Don't be afraid to talk to them, because I know a lot of people is afraid to talk to people who is famous. Don't be afraid to talk to them. They are just like you and me, only that they are really fucking good at what they do. That's the only difference. And you have a lot to learn from them, so why not try to learn something from them? For example, when we approached release of Sizes Matter, I had a question about an embargo build. An embargo build is the build you send out to press so they can review it before it comes out publicly. I had a question about that, and I knew that Rami and Mike Bethel, Rami Ismail from Lambier, and Mike Bethel from Thomas Was Alone and now developing Volume, I knew that these guys had been through the same thing. And why not ask people you know have the knowledge that you want to acquire? So just ask them. Just ask them right out, and you might get a response. Talked to Rami when we were in Barcelona at the Game Lab conference, which is sponsoring this conference, and he said that he gets like, I don't know, like 400 Twitter notifications a day. So he might not notice you, but ask him. I mean, you never know if you never ask him, so just go ahead and do that. And I got my response, which I was very happy with. Never be afraid to ask. Also, I had a question about, I was having some issues with, like, can you have too many contacts on your press list? And I remember watching in the game, the movie, and I remember one scene where Edmund is like about to go to sleep, and the thing he's supposed to do right before he goes to sleep is send out press releases to press. And therefore I asked him, can you have too many? And he gave me this response. I'm going like through these pretty fast, so if you want to have them later, I can give it to them. Which resulted in a really fucking big press list. You can never have too many press contacts, really. If we were afraid to talk to people, Sizes Matter would never exist. We are heavily reliant on music artists. We need them. We really need them. And that didn't stop us from sending a text to these guys. It never responded, though, weirdly enough. But we send out emails to all of them. I mean, just to get Exotica on board was a dream. Savant, Chipsel, getting all these people aboard was a dream. And we made that dream come true by contacting them, by not being afraid to contact them. Have role models. This is why I mentioned previously, there's a difference between celebrities, I think, and role models. Celebrities is a label that we have constructed. Role models is something we can look up to, and someone we can look up to. And I think they have a very important function for us as creatives. I think that if we don't have any role models in our industry, and also outside our industry, as I mentioned, we can learn from everyone. We're a fucking young industry. We can learn something. We can always learn something from people. And I think this is where role models have a very important function. They're there. They are where they are for a reason. And that is why we should contact them and maybe learn something from them. And they don't even have to be real.
Well, technology is a glittering lure, but there's the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash if they have a sentimental bond with the product. My first job, I was in-house at a fur company with this old pro copywriter, Greek, named Teddy. And Teddy told me the most important idea in advertising is new. Creates an itch. You simply put your product in there as a kind of calamine lotion. But he also talked about a deeper bond with the product. Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent.
So this scene is from the series Mad Men, and this is John Hamm's portrayal of the character Don Draper, which is who is an advertiser who works in an agency. If it hadn't been for him, I would never have been able to pitch to Suits, basically. I learned a lot from him, and they don't have to be real people. I mean, they are science fiction, but science fiction is just real life without the dull parts. So why not take inspiration from them? There's no reason not to.
Everything is a remix means that the more everything you have, the better a designer you will be. The better a creator you will be. The better a creative you will be. So, go do new things. Listen to music. Read the books that Richard suggested. Go and figure out what your favorite movie director is if you don't have a favorite movie director. Go, I don't know, go skydive. I don't care. Do things that you would never do otherwise. Because the more everything you have, the better of a creative you will be.
So this was Rami Ismail from the Dutch company Lambier, which we have created Luftrausers, Ridiculous Fishing, Gun Gods, and now developing Nuclear Throne, which is also one of my personal big role models. I think he's a fantastic guy personally and professionally. He has a lot to learn indies, and he has kind of become this celebrity in the indie scene. And I think he has a lot of knowledge to give us, And his view on business and indie has inspired me greatly, and I think he has a lot to learn us. By the way, if you want any of these links, this is just like short clips from everything. If you want that, just approach me and I'll give you the full links. Okay. No competitors. It's easy to consider other companies as competitors. We get taught this at school very often. I know I was. Personally, I don't think this applies to the games industry. I think we are a way too young industry to consider other companies in the same industry as competitors. We have SWOT analysis. We have all of these ways of finding weaknesses and strengths in our own company and others, and to exploit that. Personally, I don't like that, and I think that we can't view other companies in our same industry as competitors. We need to really be happy for other people in our same industry. I think a success for one company in the same industry is also a success for ours. Because in the long run, I think we'll all win from it. I think that we'll grow, and we'll grow, and we'll grow if more people have this mindset. Okay? I firmly believe that. Video games, they're infants, compared to other types of media, that is. I think that our industry is so young compared to all of the other types of media that we have to learn from them. I think it's our right and our privilege to learn from the other types of media. I mean, we are the media. Basically, video games is the media who combines all the other types of media. And I think we would be way too naive if we were to think that, nope, can't learn anything from music, not anything from movies, not anything from TV. We have a lot to learn from them. And to believe that we cannot learn from them and that we can only be inspired by our own industry and other companies in our own industry, we are way too short-sighted, I think. Because time equals experience. We're young. TV has existed for many years. Radio, as I didn't mention previously, we have a lot to learn from them as well. Film, books, a lot to learn. Many things to learn. Knowledge can be obtained from other media. New color. Connect. Connect with people as much as you possibly can. This is probably the most practical tip I have to give this evening. Maybe you can take something from that. Connect as much as you can. This is I talked to Steve Curran a couple of days ago, and he said that the most important skill that they don't teach in school is talking to other people. It's a very important skill to learn. You have talked your whole life, but talking to people about other things is a way, way different challenge. And I think that we need to connect, not only with your voice. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, all these things we take for granted, which you can use to connect to the whole fucking world. I mean, the world is out there. There's no reason why you shouldn't contact as many people as you possibly can. They're there for your pleasure. Like, imagine in like the olden days before the internet. Imagine how it was to connect then. You had to talk to people. Man, that's tough. That's tough. Now you can actually just bleep, blop, bloop, and you have connected and following a guy you really like. And I think that's very important. Connect. Use the technology you have at your fingertips to connect to people. Be visible. Be as visible as you possibly can on Twitter and on Facebook, LinkedIn, many social medias, many, many more to come. I'm sure of it. And be as visible as you possibly can. Like, have a tweet a day. I don't care what it's about, just tweet something. Get your tweet count up. If you have something important to say, write a blog post. Write a blog post. Be as visible as you possibly can. I think that's very important. I think it's very important. I usually say that my network of game developers and within the industry, and also possibly the rest of my life as well, which is not much, is 50% Twitter and 50% alcohol. Now, easy. I'm not saying alcohol is the solution. I'm just saying it's really, really fucking helping. But not necessarily alcohol, but just socializing, okay? Being around people. 50% Twitter, 50% connecting on conferences, things like this, which is awesome that you're here, because you can connect with so many different people. Take advantage of every chance you possibly get. And be visible as you possibly can. I was going to Game Lab Barcelona, which I mentioned previously before. And there was this group that I found on LinkedIn called the Game Lab Conference Networking Group. And I just thought, well, maybe people are interested in maybe meeting us. I'm sure as hell interested in meeting others and playing their games, because I want to play as many video games as humanly possible. And I just wrote this post. Just like be visible, say, hi, I'm here, I'm coming to your country, I'm a Viking. And it really worked out pretty fucking well. It got a lot of attention, and all of a sudden I was at an indie panel in Spain, just because I said, Morn. That's what I said. So all of a sudden I was on a panel, this is me, Beardy Mattis, with Jordi De Paco from Deconstruct team, making Gods Will Be Watching, Johannes Sivurinen from Finland, making Badlands, and I can't remember this guy's name, sorry. Just because I said Morn, basically. And it doesn't take much more than that. It just takes a hello. That's all it takes. Which leads me to game conferences. I'm trying to have like a red thread here. It's so easy to say, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. If you don't have the time, make time. You deserve to go to these conferences, and I think you would actually also really benefit from them. You would really benefit from them. I think many people prioritize badly because they've never been to one. Game conferences is the thing that you go there expecting one and you get two. You always get, not always, but mostly, you get more than you come for, okay? You get a lot back if you just take the chances, say hi, and just take a chance on me, just take a chance. I really, really encourage that, I really do. One gets always more than one plans, I've written down. Also, don't like assume it's expensive. I know a lot of people do this. I did this. I just automatically assume that like, oh, I have to go to England. That costs way too much. I know that costs too much. I don't have the money, and it's a fair. Although I need to say it's a fair thing that you don't have money because you might not have, and that's fine. If you have parents, beg them. That's always a nice thing to do. And also, go with more people. Like, just, I said earlier, never assume. Never assume it's expensive. Check out the prices and then evaluate if you have the money. And like, for example, just rent a hotel room. You can stuff 5 people into a hotel room, no problem. It's just a couple of guys have to sleep on the floor maybe, and one in a chair. And if they can do that, because you'll save a lot of money. You'll save a lot of money. In some hotels it's not allowed though, but I think it's definitely worth it. Yeah. Going to conferences is healthy for you and it's healthy for your product. This is something I mean. It's healthy for your product or game, video game, as it's really nice to show it off and to get some feedback on it. And going to conferences and showing your thing off is very useful for you. It's useful for you, for your health. It's very nice for your mental health. And you deserve to feel good, as I mentioned before. These things boosts you up. They give you a motivational boost because you meet other types of people. People who are not like you, people who are like you, game developers, game publishers, randoms, sisters of game developers, I mean, all types of people. The more you are, the better of a creative you will be, to quote Rami. And you never know who you might meet going to these things. We met Rami, which is pretty fucking cool. He's a nice guy. So go to these things. You always get more than you plan for. Plant a picture. This is about pitching. What you want to do when you pitch is plant a picture or a video in someone else's head. That's like the ultimate goal, right? That's what you want to do. If you don't have your game with you, which I mean, if you're making a PC game, it's kind of hard to like show the gameplay. They can't really get the feel. Then rehearse your pitch and have many pitches ready. And I mean this. I must have looked like a loser for so many years because I stood in front of the mirror alone and just rehearsed my pitch. And you must look like a fucking idiot, but it's really nice for you. Rehearse a 5-second pitch, which is basically just a genre or game description. Develop a elevator pitch, like 1 to 2 minutes, which is really nice to have. You never know who you might meet, and you have to pitch your game really fucking fast. Make a 10-minute pitch. That's a big challenge. That's a big challenge. And get rid of as much unnecessary language as possible, and really perfect it. Try to make it as perfect as possible, and have this ready at all times. And your pitch might change as well. It might change with time. So always keep your pitch updated. I think that's a good thing to do. An easy thing to do when you are developing a pitch, which I have found when developing Size Does Matter, is having games to compare it to. Like, this game is a mixture between game A and B put together. It's the visual style of A and the gameplay and feel of B, for example. For example, our game, when I pitched that in 5 seconds, Size Does Matter is basically a mixture between Guitar Hero and Tetris, which plants, or hopefully now, plants a picture inside people's heads right away. Like, okay, it has rhythm elements, okay, Tetris, simple art style, blocks, okay, yeah, I get it. And then you can show them some gameplay and even show them the actual game, let them play the game itself, which is the best thing, of course. Really unnecessary advice in many ways, but have fun. I know a lot of people that actually just forgets to have fun. Remember that you are in an industry which is pretty fucking awesome. You're doing something fantastic. And I know a lot of people who forget that. They often get very obsessed that it's work, and it is work. It is. It's a lot of work, as you might know. But it's fun as well. You have a fun job. You have a very, very fun job. And imagine that there's a lot of people out there who live their lives with a job they hate. Every day, 5 days a week, maybe even more, they have a job. They go to a job early in the morning, maybe, with a job they don't like. And you are not one of them. Thank you very much. So if anyone have any questions, you can ask right away, or if you're afraid to ask, as I know I was many years ago, just come to me afterwards. I would love to talk with all of you, so please do.
Yeah, can we do 1 or 2 questions, and then we have kind of we have to set up the next
definitely.
thing. So yeah.
We have one there and one there at the top.
Great. Get them some mics and.
Should I just start or? Okay. You were talking about learning from other medium, but I know me personally, I think that especially the the AAA industry has lately been too focused on being like other medium, like making games more cinematic. Taking games like, for example, Uncharted, which I know some people really love, but for me, especially, feels too much like a movie. And this is a problem in the game industry. I feel that we're trying to make movies, not games.
Definitely. Would you just like my opinion on that, or?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with your opinion. I think that the AAA industry is going. It's like the AAA industry's goal is to find the citizen gain of games, basically, which is a horrible goal because you can't. It's not the same medium. So definitely, I think we have a lot to learn from them, and even more important than knowledge, I think motivation and inspiration from them. We have a lot to learn from them in that way as well. So I think indies are doing a fantastic job. So thank you for doing a fantastic job on being inspired by the actual gamey aspects of games, which I think is nice.
Thank you. That was all.
Thank you.
Lars, don't touch Uncharted, okay? So, thank you for the talk. I don't think there's a single person here who doesn't want to go out and make video games now. But you said, before you started talking, that you had some preconceived notions about what it was like to develop and release a game. So, what were they, and what did you end up learning? What was the difference?
Like the actual release of the game?
Yeah, because, you know, before you released it, what did you think it would be like, and what did you learn that, you know, where were you wrong?
That's very hard because I've been in this hibernation mode in like 2 months now, so I haven't really given that much thought. But we had a publisher, that has to be said. I'm not AAA, take it easy. But we had a publisher. So what I was actually thinking was that I was like preparing to do a lot of work when it comes to actually releasing a video game. And I found out after talking to my publisher that I didn't actually have to do that much, actually. But I learned a lot about the feelings that comes with releasing a game. I actually talked to Joey from D-Pad Games about this yesterday. Like your whole følelsesspekter, I don't know what that's in English. Emotion spectrum, thank you. Gets put on trial because it goes through all of your emotions at once. It's like depressed, raged, happiness, longing, depression. It's like all of these things are combined. So if there's something I learned, I think it's more that way, like the feelings that comes with it. And I think I'm way more prepared for the next time I prepare a video game, which I will. So yeah, I think that's what I learned the most.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Oh, there's one more. If we have time, though.
Can we? Are you going to be here for the next session?
Yes.
Do you want to be down here answering questions with the rest of the speakers?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to be down here answering questions with the rest of the guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So what we're doing next? So yeah, this is because we had a cancellation. So that's why I'm planning this right now. The next session is going to be a Q&A session with. I think we've got all of our speakers except for the ones that are doing the workshops right now. So we have at least Alex and Leanne, we have Mattis, we have Anna and Emmy, James, I think. And we're going to try to get that started by 2:10. So if you can be back here by then, that would be great. Thank you.
you.